sex sells, but pain sells just as well. I keep thinking I'm reading fiction, and this is non-fiction, this is real. My buying habits for books has just got out of hand. I am roasting. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. How are you doing? I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back. It's March, or it's technically the end of March, and I actually had an extremely exciting day, and that is because I've been to B&M Home Stores and I've been to the range. I know, it is the most excitement genuinely I've had in a few weeks though, like just to go to a different shop, just to see different people, etc. So I've had a good day. So I'm just going to take you through the books that I've read this month. I have read 3, but I'm in the middle of one at the moment. Oh yeah, and I forgot to say as well, The Other Black Girl, which I'll put a photo up of here. I finished that and I don't know what to think of it yet. I'm so excited for you guys to read The Other Black Girl. I did finish that and I don't know how to feel about it, to be honest. I feel like I want to talk to some people about it, but because I don't think it's out until June 2021, obviously no one's really read it yet unless people that have got like proofs. So yeah, I'm waiting to hear what other people think about it first before I share my like full opinion on it. But technically the first book that I started and finished in March 2021 was this. It's called The Eighth Girl. It was kindly gifted to me by Pushkin Press. Thank you, Tara McAvoy, for sending this to me. Tara kindly emailed me Pushkin Press's catalogue and I saw the description for The Eighth Girl and was like, I have to read this. And thank you so much for sending it to me because I enjoyed it so much. It's I'd say it's quite a thick book. It did take a little while to read, but at the same time it wasn't like a drag or anything. Like, I didn't want it to end. I was really enjoying reading it, and I loved it so much for so many reasons. So to give you a bit of what it's about, The Eighth Girl, because it's with someone with multiple personality disorder. This woman called Alexa, sorry for everyone's Alexas that have just been going off after I've said that, but this is about a woman called Alexa, and no one knows that she has this mental disorder apart from her therapist Daniel, her best friend Anna, I think her best friend's name is, yeah, oh no, her best friend Ella, and then her stepmother Anna. And it's basically about her life, but it's not kind of like focused on the multiple personality disorder. It's more focused on her and her best friend's relationship and the fact that her best friend has just got involved with a strip club, and it's kind of Alexa doesn't really want her to get involved with that, but she still does, but it's kind of like supporting her best friend through that. And I don't want to give too much away, but I just really loved it. I found that every chapter was really easy to read but really engaging at the same time. It was quite fast paced, which I loved as well. I don't want to get bored really easily. Then there's a big twist at the end, which I want to talk to someone about this because I absolutely love this one. I'm just seeing what I wrote about it in my little book. I said, oh yeah, it's really clear from the beginning as well. So I thought, perhaps this, because I get really confused when there's like more than 3 characters in a book, whatever the book is about. So I was like, this one's obviously about multiple personality disorder, so I'm going to have to know 8 different personalities. But they make it really clear from the very start who each personality is, what they're like, what their characteristics are like. So you're not kind of jumping in the story halfway through and just sort of expected to know who these people are. They outline right in the first sort of few chapters, this is this person, this is what they like, etc. And I found that really helpful. So it's written from Alexa's point of view, but it's also written from her therapist's point of view. So it's a bit about his life as well, and then it's about how he interprets their therapy sessions, etc. And I found that quite useful, and I didn't find it confusing at all switching between the two of them. So then the next one I read, which was also kindly gifted to me, was The Limits of My Language, Meditations on Depression. This was also by Pushkin Press. Now, I don't know how to feel about this one, to be completely honest. So it's quite a thin one, so it didn't take me too long to read. I read it in a couple of days. It's about depression, and from someone that has suffered from major depressive disorder, I was like, I'd like to read about this, and again I kind of like requested this one after hearing what it's about. So it's kind of an analysis of depression and how it might affect you, and to be honest, I think it's probably better for someone that hasn't suffered from depression to read. And obviously there is a shocking amount of people that do suffer from depression, but I honestly think it's probably better to read from someone that has someone close to them suffering from depression or has never suffered it from themselves. I can't really explain why. I just think there's some things that I kind of already knew, or there's some things that would kind of different in my experience. So, and that might just be completely personal opinion. I mean, it was really well written. It's technically just like a long essay. The chapters did confuse me a little bit about like why they're talking about that, and there is a relevance to that kind of like crooked tree on the front as well. I said it was, in all honesty, a little unfocused. I wasn't really sure it was aiming to go. I wasn't really sure like the kind of purpose of the essay and what it was trying to portray, or if it was just kind of an ongoing narrative. But for me personally, I would have quite liked to see a bit more of a kind of a purpose and a reason behind writing this book. Again, that's completely my personal opinion, and I would recommend it. And like I said, it will probably be better for someone that hasn't experienced depression before, seeing how that can affect the ill person basically. I've got a couple of quotes that I really enjoyed from this book. So the first one is, I'll read it out to you. It seems to put the responsibility on the person who is ill. If you don't get better, then you haven't fought hard enough, apparently. Yet getting better often has nothing to do with you, whether you have cancer or depression. It can feel like a battle, but the outcome isn't always affected by how hard you fight. You can be in continuous therapy, take your medicines, do all the right things, and yet remain deeply unhappy. And I think that's so true. Like, you can be doing absolutely everything that your therapist tells you. You can be turning up to all the sessions, taking your drugs every single day, and you're still not happy. And that's the kind of torture of depression almost, because you're constantly feeling like you're fighting it, as they say in this, but it's not necessarily fighting a battle as they kind of explore in this book. And then the next quote was on page 52, and it says, "Sex sells, but pain sells just as well." I hadn't really thought about that before, but I absolutely do agree. And that's kind of the reason why I picked up this book and decided that I'd like a copy of this, because it's about pain at the end of the day, and that's hard hitting, but it's kind of enlightening and it puts things into perspective. So that's the one I read this March 2021. It's Limits of My Language by Pushkin Press. Then I read Grown Ups, which is, I don't know why I've just read all Pushkin Press's books this month, but another one by Pushkin Press that was also kindly gifted to me. So you can see this is an uncorrected proof. I love this cover. I think I shared this before, but it's so simplistic. That colour, like that kind of teal, blue, green colour, I absolutely love. And it says on the front, "What kind of adult are you without a family of your own?" And it's about this character and her sister. It's kind of about sister rivalry, and they go to their kind of family home cottage, or I think it's a cottage. Cabin, that's the word I was trying to think of. They go to their family like country cabin, and it's about them now that they're a bit older. I think the main character's just turned 40, and she's contemplating freezing her eggs. And so she has some tests with this doctor, and she's waiting on a phone call while she's at this cabin to say whether or not she can go ahead and what the procedure would be, etc. And while she's there, she's staying with her sister, and her sister is pregnant, and it's all about that and kind of the way in which they compete. I think the thing about this is it was very kind of, what's more important is the message behind it rather than the actual plot, because in a sense not a lot actually happened. It was quite a slow, steady read, but not in a bad way at all for me personally. I normally like quite quick paced things, but I quite liked the kind of message behind this book and about the sibling rivalry and how her thoughts kind of change over time. Yeah, I did really enjoy this one, and again it's really thin, it's really small, so it really did only take me a couple of days, and I really recommend this one. I really did enjoy it. This was actually translated from Norwegian, but yeah, I really recommend that one, so I enjoyed that one. And then finally, what the book I'm currently reading, but I started in March, which is why I wanted to include this in this video, is Three Women by Lisa Taddeo. This is one of Bloomsbury's books, so I have seen the kind of hype around this when it was kind of happening. This is an international #1 bestseller, so when I told my boyfriend this is the one I'm reading next, he was like, "Oh, it's got, it's got something to beat here." I think it's that for a reason. You can see I've only read that small amount, and I've got the big amount to go. But I think, yes, so far it's really good. I can probably understand why it's like a #1 international bestseller. It's essentially about three women. It's written from the author Lisa Taddeo's point of view. It's a non-fiction book, and it's about three women that she knows or is in her life, and she kind of writes it from their point of view, but not. I think that's the one thing that's getting me at the moment. I'm just coming to grips with the perspective, and the person that it's written from isn't the person, like one of the three women. So, and you'll kind of understand what I mean if you read it, but again, I'm only a little way in, so I'm sure that will be fine when I get through it, but at the moment I'm just kind of being like, oh no, this isn't the author writing this. I mean, there was a big thing at the start in the prologue that said, like, there was so much research gone into this, every text message were analysed, etc. But it is very detailed in terms of, I keep thinking I'm reading fiction, and this is non-fiction, this is real. I don't know how to describe it, and like the just the way she explains how they were thinking at the time, and obviously she can't know that for certain, but obviously she's done her research to talk to these 3 women, and I think it's amazing in the fact that I'm reading it thinking it's almost like a story, and then it's kind of hard-hitting to think this is real. That's what I would say about it so far. I am enjoying it so far. I've managed to read it. I mean, I only read that in sort of like an hour or something. I'm actually reading this for our book club pick this month, so I'm excited to chat with the others, see what they think about it. In other news as well, I found my Kindle. You can see it needs charging. I say found my Kindle. I never actually lost it. It was just in one of my drawers, and I kind of forgot that I had it, and I definitely went for a phase of reading on my Kindle non-stop, but now I'm very much read a paperback, read a hardback. But I'm excited to have my Kindle back again, and I think I'm going to buy a couple of books on here at the moment because my buying habits for books has just got out of hand. And so I think maybe I'll spend less money if I buy digital copies and read on my Kindle instead. So let me know, guys, if you prefer reading on a Kindle or if you prefer reading the hardback books. That is basically it. So we had The Eighth Girl, we had Limits of My Language, we had Grown Ups, and then we have 3 Women. So I'll talk about what I thought of 3 Women probably in my April one once I've finished that finally. And yeah, let me know down below if you've read any of these. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Let me know if any of these are on your pile to read or anything like that. I'd love to hear from you. But for now, thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.